Day 3. What code already exists? The technologies used to build the web wasn't invented at the same time. The first website created in HTML was in 91, and JavaScript that are responsible for interactivity came in 95, and CSS that are responsible for styling came in 96. So nothing on the web is ever really done. Everything is just an evolving process. Some years ago, Amazon said they were making changes to their site one time every 11.6 seconds. That's like 2.7 million changes a year. Today we will talk about how the technologies of the web is an ever-evolving process. One big difference between the English language and programming languages is that programming languages has a lot fewer words. While there are 171,476 words in the Oxford English Dictionary, JavaScript only has 209 words that are commonly used in the language. Programming languages has some building blocks that are used over and over and over again. One commonly used expression is an if-else statement. An if-else statement can be used in computer programming to make decisions. Like in Facebook, I get notified when my friends has birthdays. So somewhere in the code base of Facebook, there's a statement saying something like, if Andreas' friends are having a birthday, then notify Andreas, else don't notify Andreas about birthday. But there's nothing in the programming language to know who Andreas is, what a birthday is, or what a notification is. The only thing that is in the programming language is the if and else. So this block, if Andreas are having a birthday, then notify Andreas, else don't notify Andreas about birthday. This is like really, really long in the code base. So all these things has to be programmed. If we take the restaurant example again, when you order something and say, can I have a steak? And the waiter says yes, a long chain of events are triggered. Like the waiter is leaving the table, the waiter is communicating the order to the chef picks up the steak from the refrigerator, etc, etc, etc. If this was done with programming, both events and the specific things that are in the events need to be defined. This is a lot of work. Therefore, programmers are using frameworks and libraries. Libraries and frameworks are code that other developers have written that can be used in software projects. Libraries and frameworks have all this defined already. Instead of coding every part of the app, the developer is using these things that have been built for before them. Sometimes these libraries and frameworks are open source. Open source code is where you have the rights to study, change, and distribute the software to anyone and for any purpose. Something that you might run into when it comes to libraries and frameworks is the word API. API is short for Application Programming Interface. To understand APIs, let's see what is not an API, because this is something that you already know already. Take Google Maps. When you're going to a meeting, but it is at a place that you don't know, you can type in the address on Google Maps and see it on a map. Well, instead of having you type the address in Google Maps, what if your calendar application would show you the address right from the start? So there's two ways to do this. Either the developer can create their own map with all the locations, but this is like building a house yourself and going out in the forest and look for timber. Instead, someone else, Google in this case, has already made a really great map with all the locations all around the world. Google has made a library for maps with some common instructions that people typically want to do with maps, like search for an address. The way that the developer is instructing the map library to do things like search is through an API. Instead of manually go to Google Maps and search, this is done through a programming language and some pre-made functions that Google Maps has created, like search for locations and show it on the map. APIs are important when thinking about strategy. Using an external library is like using Goodyear tires when building a car. If you're using Goodyear tires for the car, that cannot be your competitive advantage because any of the other car makers can use Goodyear tires. What in your business is your unique advantage? That part of the business shouldn't solely be an API because then it's very easy to copy-paste. Remember, software developers don't want to reinvent the wheel, so therefore they're using libraries and frameworks. This is just code other people have written. An API is used to instruct what libraries and frameworks should do, like search for a location and show it on the map. If you're curious about APIs and libraries, look at this library from Facebook that has done augmented reality easy.